Oh, there you are, YouTube. The Oscars are this Sunday. They are really coming up. So basically, I only have like 2 videos before the Oscars happen, before like my Oscar reaction or whatever. So I'm going to do one more random ranking today. That's what we're doing. Oscar themed. We're going to pick from my best picture collection beside me and then rank those movies based on whatever criteria we come up with. And then I'll probably do a ranking of all of the best picture winners or something like that. We'll see what happens. And I don't really know how that ranking is going to go in terms of like what criteria I'm going to use. It's up in the air. We'll find out tomorrow. But let's get to our usual random ranking. Well, somewhat usual, because we're doing the best pictures again. So let's see what we got. And I'm going to pick from somewhat recent best pictures, I think. I don't know. This collection isn't very organized, so we'll see what happens. Just so more people can participate in the activity. I know a lot of people have not seen the older movies, which is completely understandable because the Academy doesn't always pick the right film, right? It's not always, like when you look at the history of Best Picture, it's not a bunch of movies that you know. They don't have sticking power. The reason they have stuck is because they are in this line of Best Picture winners, this history. But it's not like they are within the culture outside of that, I feel like. You know, like How Green Is My Valley is more so, I mean, I think it's a great movie, but it's more so known as the movie that beat Citizen Kane. We all know Citizen Kane, but do you know How Green Is My Valley? Okay, so here we go. Okay, actually, this is kind of funny because I feel like the ones we picked are all movies that still exist in the culture. Okay, so here, well, which I guess was the plan, right, for newer films, but they aren't newer films. Anyway, I'm still talking. Let's go. So the first one we have is Annie Hall, this Woody Allen movie. This famously beat Star Wars. That's right, Star Wars, now known as A New Hope. So yeah, I mean, I guess I kind of held a grudge against it for a long time, knowing that we could have had Star Wars as a Best Picture winner. But, you know, I've come around to this movie, and I do like this movie. It's a love story that doesn't have the ending that you expect love stories to have. But it sort of created a new path for love stories to go, I guess you could say. I mean, I probably didn't create it. That's not the right word, but popularized it to where, at least when you're watching a love story, the question is, will they or won't they? Because you could usually end or go into a movie knowing they're going to end up together, they're going to stay together, they're going to be happy at the end of it, right? And this one here, for as lighthearted as it is and everything, things don't go where lighthearted, is that the right word? Funny? I don't know. Funny is probably the better word. Because it is funny. My favorite part in this is when Woody Allen is outside on the sidewalk and he's looking at some, you know, bruiser type guys, tough guys, and he says to Annie, he goes, "It's like I'm standing here with the entire cast of The Godfather." And it's like, because he's talking about the Italian men, right? But she's in the cast of The Godfather. And it wasn't like he was referring to her, but at the same time he was referring to her because she is in it. I love that part. That's one of my favorite parts. But yeah, I like how it like breaks the fourth wall and does all that sort of stuff. It's really, really good. Probably, no, I was going to say it's my favorite Woody Allen, but it's probably my second favorite Woody Allen. Next, we have Forrest Gump. Every boomer's favorite movie, right? Every single boomer's favorite movie, and then some Gen Xers and millennials love it too. I don't know about Gen Z. What do they think about this movie? But yeah, I mean, this movie is sort of a big deal for me and sort of what got me into the Oscars as a fan. Not as like a predictor or a person like actively rooting or prognosticating or, you know, whatever for myself. This was just like sort of gave me my first interest, deep interest into the Oscars, I guess, because this was the first Best Picture winner that I saw in the theater. I just saw it in the theater with my mom while my sister was at Girl Scout camp, and so it went on to win Best Picture, and I just thought that was cool because it was like this movie that I saw in the theater that I thought was great and loved and thought was so good. The people who make these movies decided it was the best picture, and I just felt like I had a connection to it, and then it sort of made me feel like I had a stronger connection to Hollywood and those involved and everything, and I just thought that was cool, and it sort of gave me just a deeper love for the Academy, the Oscars, rather than just like knowing about them and catching them occasionally or whatever. This was more like, okay, I like this. But I didn't get into like the races until much later, probably the 2000s, early 2000s, because I would just kind of watch as a, this is what the Academy thinks, and by golly, that's great. So it wasn't until later when I was like, oh, they should have went with this person. What were they doing? What are they thinking? What are they thinking? They should have went with this movie. That was later. This was just me, from here until 2000, it was me just accepting what was happening and being like, okay, that's what it is. That's the best movie. Okay, here we go. Next, we have The Apartment. Another unconventional sort of romance, love story sort of thing happening. So yeah, it's like this is kind of funny because you have like this business relationship sort of thing going on, workplace happening, but then everything that happens in this apartment, different kind of sort of business going on there in a way. It's just, I think this is when, I don't think this is when, but watching this movie just made me realize that black and white films aren't all squeaky clean, you know. I think we have this idea because of television that, you know, like Leave It to Beaver and Lassie and Beverly Hillbillies and I don't know, just a lot of old TV, black and white TV, we have this idea that back in the 60s and 50s, you know, pre-hippie 60s and 50s, everything was just like squeaky clean, and there was, you know, sex didn't exist basically, and this movie was like all about that in a way, and it was just kind of like, oh, okay, black and white movie. I think that actually the first movie I ever saw that, which was made a little later. Was that? I mean, I don't know. When did The Last Picture Show come out? I just remember watching that on TV once and be like, whoa, black and white movies have that in it? Anyway, so yeah, good movie here. Also, it's a Christmas movie. Okay, what are we gonna do here? You know what? I'm gonna go with criteria here, like importance of me loving the Oscars, and you know, I like Forrest Gump, but I've just seen it so many times. I just like know it so well that it's not like I need to be watching it anymore. But now the question is, do I pick The Apartment or Annie Hall? See, here's the thing, because you know Woody Allen is in that movie and he directed that movie and probably wrote it, directed, acted in it, probably produced it, and then, but you know, before I knew about any of that, I mean, I just loved, I mean, I love the humor in it. I like the knowing humor when we break the fourth wall, when we have those moments where it's just like they know they're in a film and all of that. I don't know, all of that was very fun for me. So I think I might go, this is controversial, I feel like, but this is where I'm at today. On a different day, it might be different, but I'm going to go importance to my relationship with the Oscars, Forrest Gump, and then I'm going to go Annie Hall just because I love I love the meta humor, and then I'm going to go The Apartment. So sorry, everybody who loves The Apartment. I know everybody loves The Apartment. I do too, but I just need to, it has to be number 3 today. That's where it's at. Sorry. I'm apologizing to myself as well. I feel bad. I'm apologizing to the film. I feel like the apartment should be higher, but this is where it's landing today. Today, this is where it is. You ever notice how Keanu Reeves, when people ask him, what's your favorite this, what's your favorite that, he always says, today I'm going to choose. So I love that. That sort of made me feel like I have the freedom to be like, you know what? This is a today thing. This is a right now thing. This isn't a forever thing. And today, right now, apartment is number 3, even though I still feel very self-conscious about it. But this is my ranking right here. So my question to you is, have you seen these movies? And if so, what do you think of them? And if you've seen all 3, how would you rank them? I'd love to know. Let me know in the comments below, and perhaps I'll see you tomorrow for more Pure Hangout.